And we're back on the SportsMax Zone. We continue with football. Haiti, Guadeloupe and Trinidad and Tobago have all qualified for the group stage of the CONCACAF Gold Cup, set to kick off in the USA on Saturday. Haiti beat Bermuda 4-0 in their final qualifier on Tuesday, with Francie Perrot scoring a first-half hat-trick. Guadeloupe survived the longest shootout in Gold Cup history, as after 24 attempts they edged Guatemala 10-9. The game had ended 1-1 in regulation time. Trinidad and Tobago were also penalty shootout winners, prevailing 8-7 over French Guiana after a 1-1 regulation draw. These are the four groups to be contested. Of course, in Group A, we have Mexico, El Salvador, Curacao, and Trinidad and Tobago. Group B with the United States, Canada, Martinique, and Haiti. Group C, we have Jamaica, Costa Rica, Suriname, and Guadeloupe. And in Group D, Honduras, Panama, Grenada, and Qatar. Well, the group stage of the Gold Cup will kick off on July 10 with the final set for July 20th. A month after the team failed to qualify for the 2022 FIFA World Cup, Trinidad and Tobago's fans will be happy to see the Soca Warriors in the Gold Cup. Interim head coach Angus Eve says the fans deserve much better than they've been given by the team in recent years.
This was our goal coming here. As you know, we had a very short space of time to prepare. We just came out of a failed World Cup campaign, and there's a lot of emotions right now in our dressing room at this point in time, because we're doing this for our country, not just for us. And of course, you're going against Mexico, but that's where we want to be. We want to be playing against the best teams in the region to keep testing ourselves and proving ourselves. This is our rebuilding. And, we just want to go into that and enjoy the group stage. I think we have done more than we should have done so far. And today was just fantastic.
Meanwhile, Eve is criticizing CONCACAF's decision to carry over yellow cards from the preliminary round to the group stage of the Gold Cup.
Those teams are waiting on us over there. And when we got yellow cards in this phase, the yellow cards will carry over, which I think is a bit unfair. Because it's a different phase. This is a qualifying phase. We're going into the group stage, and I think that most tournaments in the world, the cards don't carry over like that from qualifying into group stage. In saying that, we were always here to challenge ourselves against the best teams. Tournament football is usually 4 days apart. We just have to pick ourselves up. I could tell you emotionally, I think the guys are drained. So we'll just have to pick them up, get them a bit of relaxation, and then move on.
So, George, of course, Angus Eve over there speaking about the fact that, Trinidad and Tobago, the fans of football, have been owed so much, as well as, commenting on the fact that he's not too keen about the yellow cards having to move over into the next level.
Yeah, the point he makes about the yellow cards is solid. It's almost as if CONCACAF is punishing the teams and their best players, especially those who play in the midfield and defense, who commit the most fouls that warrant yellow cards. Don't know how an organizer can be having a competition and not want its best players to be on show in every game, because what is true, a team's starting 11 represents their strongest 11, and if you go to the bench, then you are weakening the team. So if you have to go to the bench or go to the reserves for other players to replace those who've been suspended by yellow card accumulation, then that team is not feeling its strongest team. And if you want the value of your competition to be a great spectacle, if you want it to be high value as a spectacle, then you want the best players on show. So it seems inimical that CONCACAF is doing that, almost like you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. And nobody ever said that imposing a situation where yellow cards from a qualifying competition carry over into the main tournament from the first round improve the discipline of players. And that's not what people watch football to see. They watch to see the best players competing. So I don't think it's a smart move from CONCACAF. Yeah. On his other point about the players owing the fans, yes, Trinidad and Tobago's football has been in the doldrums for several months now, perhaps years, perhaps 2 years, that it's been rather rocky. This represents the best news for TNT's football since perhaps early 2019, when you had a spate of movements under the David John Williams administration. Since then, it's been one cluster F to the next, and you know what the F is. This represents more than a glimmer of hope. This is Trinidad and Tobago taking its place among the best teams in CONCACAF. And, you know, the country should get behind them now as they look to put their best foot forward at the Gold Cup. They won't win. They don't have the best squad. And the conditions in which the conditions under which Eve is taking the team into the tournament aren't the most ideal. But it's a huge step to be there, especially so close after the World Cup flop. Anything they do from here is a bonus. I think they've done well already.
Definitely, George. And if we are to look at the group that they're drawn in, Group A, they have to face Mexico on Saturday. Now, if you look at how Trinidad and Tobago played against French Guyana, in that match, they made a couple of errors. Of course, many people underestimated French Guyana, saying that, you know, this should have been a walk in the park for Trinidad and Tobago. Based on what we've seen, of course, there are a lot of areas to work on. If you were to talk to Angus Eve and, you know, you play football as well, right? I'm giving you the role of a coach as opposed to an analyst right now. Where, based on what you see from Trinidad and Tobago's football, where would you tell them to improve?
Well, the thing is this, playing a Mexico team that is more powerful than your squad on paper, players who are, in terms of match conditions and being fit for battle, are superior to your team, to your players individually and to your team as a unit. I would say that Angus Eve would have to be conservative to try to get something from this. In tournament football, you'll want to get at least a point from your first game. You don't want to lose your first game. And even if you lose, you don't want to concede too many goals. So I would suggest and recommend a conservative approach to try to keep it tight. Don't be too expansive because Mexico will wear you down and they have the quality players to pounce on any mistake you make. And he's going to have to be very, very clever with his substitutions. When and who, because as the game grows old, the older the game grows, the stronger Mexico will get. Conversely, the weaker you expect Trinidad and Tobago to get given their inferior conditioning. So I'm seeing a conservative approach and a very, very astute use of his substitutes as the key for Angus Eve if he wants his team to get something from this game.
Definitely, and I'm a bit worried, George, as we get set to face Mexico, because our captain, Kaleem Highland, he had to leave the game against French Guyana injured. And of course, our midfielder, Judah Garcia, as well, he picked up an injury. So, you know, their fitness is still in the air. We haven't really gotten confirmation as to if they'll be okay. So those are two key players that I hope will not be missing as we get set to face Mexico. We go to break and we'll be back. We have so much more for you.